This conference will now be recorded.
Hello students, welcome to TeenEinstein biology class. So now we have already completed all topics in the chapter 6, respiration in organism. Here mainly we have learned about the respiration in different organisms. So in that the main topics which we have covered, that is why do we respire and what is breathing, how do we breathe, what do we breathe out, breathing in other animals, then breathing underwater, and whether plants will also respire or not. So all these topics we have covered. So let's go to the summary of all these topics. See, respiration, breathing in other animals, then respiration in plants. These are the topics which we have covered. So in respiration, we have learned about aerobic respiration. Under respiration, aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Both we have learned, right? Then next topic, the first topic was respiration, second topic was breathing. So in this respiratory tract, about respiratory tract we have learned. Then what is inhalation and exhalation, both we have learned, right? And the third topic which we have covered, that is breathing in other animals. So under this breathing in other animals, we have learned about cockroach, then breathing in cockroach, second one in earthworm, how breathing was taking place in fish and frog, right? Then last topic which we have discussed, that is respiration in plants, right? Here the thing which you need to learn, that is about yeast, which kind of respiration in that it is taking place, and in muscle cells what is happening, that and all we need to learn, right? So let's start. In respiration, we said, see, about each chapter you need to prepare a mind map, okay? In the sense, see, we are saying about respiration in organisms, right? So respiration in organism means about respiration. If you're talking about respiration, what and all topics should come under that? At least minimum you should read such things: aerobic respiration, anaerobic respiration. Then in anaerobic respiration, we are learning about two main things, like in yeast how respiration, anaerobic respiration is taking place, and in muscle cells how anaerobic respiration is taking place, and in which case it is taking place and what is happening, why muscle cramps are coming. So all those things are coming under that topic. Then about breathing, we are saying means about the breathing process. There you are getting inhalation and exhalation, then the respiratory tract, both the topics, right? Then if you're coming to breathing in other animals, we have to learn about cockroach, frog, earthworm, and fish. Then respiration in plants means in plants, what is happening in root hairs or in root, how that respiration or the gaseous exchange is taking place. And in stomata, what are the roles of stomata, that also you need to learn, you need to prepare notes about that, okay? So let's start with the respiration. See, we know that the cells, they require energy right? So why they require energy to perform all the functions in our body, and this energy is provided by the process known as respiration. How the energy is provided? This energy is provided by respiration process. Okay, then the food whatever we consume, that is having stored energy, right? Food is whatever we are consuming, that is having stored energy, and this stored energy is released during respiration. Okay, the stored energy is getting released during respiration. So here the breakdown of food in the cell, within the cell, this breaking down is happening, and the release of energy, right? So the process of breakdown of food in the cell with the release of energy, that is called as cellular respiration. Cellular respiration. So breaking down of food in the cellular level and releasing the energy, that is called a cellular respiration. So cellular respiration, we can say first digesting food, then absorbing that into blood, right? Then it is getting that is getting utilized. How? With the help of oxygen, the respiration is taking place. So it is getting converted into water, carbon dioxide, and energy, right? So that is cellular respiration. In cellular respiration, how you will write? The food is getting converted in the presence of oxygen, right? And respiration is taking place. So it is getting converted into carbon dioxide, then water, and along with that, energy is getting released, right? Then we said about aerobic and anaerobic respiration. See, aerobic respiration, in aerobic respiration, you can see food is broken down in the presence of oxygen, right? So here food, in the sense glucose, that is broken down in the presence of oxygen. Here oxygen is present, right? And that forms carbon dioxide plus water plus energy. So here energy is getting released. This is in the presence of oxygen. And next, anaerobic respiration, we said. So what is anaerobic respiration? Here, respiration occurs in the absence of oxygen. In anaerobic respiration, this is with oxygen. This is in the absence of this anaerobic respiration in the absence of oxygen. Okay, so in the absence of oxygen, this is happening. So anaerobic respiration occurs in the absence of oxygen, and here glucose in the absence of oxygen. No oxygen here, and respiration is taking place. So anaerobic respiration in the absence of oxygen, it is getting converted into carbon dioxide. Then instead of water, here what is forming? Alcohol plus same energy release, that is happening here. Okay, so in the case of anaerobes like yeast, this anaerobic respiration is taking place. So the food is broken down into alcohol and carbon dioxide. So they are utilized. This kind of organisms are utilized in the making process of wine and beer. Clear? And here we said in our muscle cells during heavy exercise. In muscle cells during heavy exercise. See, we are not anaerobes, but in sometimes in the demand, when we have high demand of energy in our muscle cells during heavy work, that anaerobic respiration is also taking place. So here, as a result of that anaerobic respiration, glucose is getting converted into energy release. is taking place. Along with that, lactic acid, glucose is getting converted into lactic acid. Okay, lactic acid and energy release is happening. Okay, this is the partial breakdown of glucose to lactic acid conversion. That is the partial conversion. So due to the accumulation of this lactic acid in our muscle cells, muscle cramps will happen. Okay, so to get a relief from this, we need to take a hot water bath or we need to give a massage. Clear? Then next topic what we have learned, that is breathing. So breathing involves taking in oxygen rich air. Breathing means that is consists of inhalation and exhalation. Inhalation means breathing in, sorry, taking in. We are saying about breathing. So we need to see taking in oxygen rich air. That is inhalation, right? And exhalation means giving out carbon dioxide rich air. Giving out carbon dioxide rich air. Okay, this is exhalation. And both the processes, this inhalation and exhalation, both are done with the help of respiratory organs. With the help of respiratory organs. Clear? Then we have learned about the holding breath and the holding capacity, then the breath rate per minute. In normal, it will be 15 to 18 times, and during heavy exercise, it may go up to 25 times. That and all we have learned, right? Then next about how do we breathe or the respiratory tract. We are learning about the respiratory tract. So what is this respiratory tract? The path through which respiration is taking place. Okay, so which and all that? See, nostrils. Just we'll say about the path taken by the air in the respiratory tract through which and all it is passing. Through nostrils, then to the nasal cavity, air is passing. Nostrils, nasal cavity, then pharynx, then trachea. Here you can see trachea. Then to lungs. Okay, so nostrils, nasal cavity, pharynx, trachea, then to lungs. Okay, and where these lungs are present? Lungs are present in the chest cavity. Okay, it is present in the chest cavity, and this chest cavity is surrounded by ribs. Okay, chest cavity is surrounded by ribs, and the floor of the chest cavity, that is covered by diaphragm. Okay, here we said breath rate. What is that? Breath rate, number of times a person a person is taking breath in a minute. That is called as breath rate, and normally it will be 15 to 18, and during heavy work or heavy exercise it will go up to 25 times. Okay, then we need to learn about inhalation and exhalation. During inhalation, we said inhalation, ribs movement. This is inhalation, right? Ribs. Inhalation points, what and all we can say, ribs move. Ribs movement will be towards upside. And what about diaphragm? Diaphragm is moving down. Okay, one is moving up and one is moving down. So that makes a space, right? So space in the chest cavity increases. Space increases. Space where? Space in the chest cavity increases. Then air rushes into the chest cavity or into the lung. So air is moving in, ribs moving outwards, diaphragm moving downwards. So air, that chest cavity space will increase and air rushes into the lungs. And what about exhalation? Exact opposite, ribs will move downward, right? Downward and inward. Then diaphragm, that is moving up. So here, due to this opposite side movement or inward movement, the space in the chest cavity decreases. The chest cavity space decreases. So air can't, the lungs can't hold that much air inside. So what will happen? Air moves outward. Okay, so rib movement will be towards inside, air moves out. Diaphragm is moving upward, ribs moving inward. So there won't be space, space will get reduced. So air will come out. That is exhalation. Okay, see this exhalation, during this, there is a one activity which is explained in your uh, textbook. That is, when a person is breathing during exhalation, that you can do through a straw which is placed in the freshly prepared lime water. Okay, so that lime water turns milky. This is due to the presence of carbon dioxide which is there in the exhaled air. So that is a lime water experiment which you can conduct to prove that exhalation air which is coming through the exhalation, that is having more carbon dioxide content. Okay, then we learned about sneezing, and here measuring the chest size, then the model which is showing the mechanism of breathing, everything we have learned. This is the test tube containing lime water, the experiment what I said. Then breathing in other animals we read, that is, first we have learned in cockroach. See about cockroach, what we said, cockroaches, they are having small openings. They are having small openings on the sides of their body which is called as spiracles, which are present, that small openings on the sides of the body which are called as spiracle. And they also have a network of tube which is called as, so through spiracle this air enters, and they have a network of tubes which is called as trachea. Okay, so oxygen enters through the spiracle into the tracheal tube, and that is getting diffused to the body tissues. Okay, so in the same way, carbon dioxide from the cells will move out through this spiracles. Okay, so here you need to draw the diagram of cockroach, and there you can mark the small holes which is called a spiracle, and the tracheal network also you can show the tracheal portion, the network tube which is called as trachea, and through that it is getting diffused into the cells or tissues. Next comes the earthworm. Earthworm that will breathe through, how earthworm will breathe, that will breathe through the moist skin. Okay, and the moist skin of earthworm helps the gases easily pass through the skin. Okay, so here gaseous exchange is bit easy in earthworm due to the moist nature of that skin. And next, in fish, gills that helps for respiration, that is helping to use the oxygen which is dissolved in water, helps to use the oxygen which is dissolved in water. Okay, and these gills are the projections of skin. They are the projections of skin. And these gills, there you can see they are supplied with blood vessels, and these are helping for the gaseous exchange. Then we said about frog also. In frog, they have a pair of lungs. Like human being, they have a pair of lungs. In frog, that also will explain here. They have pair of lungs which are helping them to breathe when they are on land. Okay, and they can also breathe through their moist skin when they are underwater. Through skin also they can breathe underwater. When they are in water, they can breathe through that moist skin. Okay, then we said about respiration in plants. So here plants also, they also need oxygen and they are also releasing carbon dioxide. So plants also take in oxygen from air, from air, and that is also breaking down glucose into carbon dioxide and water. Glucose into carbon dioxide and water, right? So in leaves, there, through tiny pores which are called as stomata, through stomata, gaseous exchange is taking place, right? In roots, how this gaseous exchange is taking place in plant, each and every part can do this gaseous exchange. Okay, so in leaves, tiny pores which are called as stomata, that is allowing the exchange of gases. And in roots, the air is taken up from airspace which are present in between the soil particle. From that, root hairs are able to take this air. Okay, so that's how in plants respiration is taking place or gaseous exchange is taking place. Okay, now we have got an idea or we have summarized all the topics. Now let's move to the questions from this chapter. NCERT questions from this chapter. First we will do that. Why do an athlete breathe faster and deeper than usual after finishing the race? That's the first question. See, after finishing a race, why an athlete is breathing faster, right? See, while running or an athlete during that activity, that athlete need lot of energy compared to the normal person, right? They need more energy. right? While doing that race, they need more energy, and for the release of this energy, they need lot of oxygen, more energy. So energy release, when it is taking place during respiration, this energy release is taking place, and for respiration they need more oxygen. That also they need more. Okay, so they are breathing in a faster way than the usual, uh, than the normal time, okay, to get the more oxygen. Okay, so they need more energy, and when the energy release is taking place, that is during respiration in the sense they need more oxygen to break down that uh, glucose and to release the energy. In the presence of oxygen only it is taking place during aerobic respiration, right? So for energy they need more oxygen, so breathing rate will be more to take more oxygen inside the body. That's why the breathing rate is high. Okay, next question. Similarities and differences between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Similarities between aerobic respiration. So let's see the similarities between aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. First, we will see the similarities. Then we will go to the differences. See, in aerobic respiration, in both aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration, this food particle that is broken down, it is the breaking down of food particle is taking place and the release of energy. This is a common thing, whether it is aerobic or anaerobic respiration, food particle is getting broken down and the release of energy, that is a common. For energy only, this respiration, whether it is aerobic or anaerobic, for respiration, for release of energy only it is happening, right? And both are taking place in cellular level, right? In the cells all these are taking place, and in both we are getting byproducts, right? Here in anaerobic respiration we are getting glucose is broken down into carbon dioxide, water, then energy we are getting, right? So byproducts, carbon dioxide and water are the byproducts of aerobic respiration. And here anaerobic respiration, glucose is broken down, and there you are getting energy. Along with energy is getting released, and along with energy, what and all you are getting? You are getting carbon dioxide and alcohol in the case of anaerobic respiration. So these are the similarities. Byproducts are there, but there are slight changes in the byproducts in both. Okay, now next see the differences between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. In this differences we need to take mention now. So aerobic respiration, that is in presence of oxygen. This anaerobic respiration, that is in the absence of oxygen. Right, that's the main difference. And here the end product of aerobic respiration, that is carbon dioxide, water plus energy. Right, and here the end product of anaerobic respiration, carbon dioxide, alcohol and energy, right? Energy release is taking place. And here in aerobic respiration, that produces large amount of energy. In which one? In aerobic, large amount or huge amount of energy is getting released during aerobic respiration, but in anaerobic respiration, compared to this aerobic respiration, this is lesser than aerobic respiration. So the energy release comparatively it's lesser than the aerobic respiration in anaerobic. In most of the plants and animals that follows aerobic respiration, and here anaerobic respiration, this is present in some organisms like yeast and some bacteria. Okay, only in those anaerobic respiration is taking place. Then, so this is the similarities and differences we have learned. Now next comes, why do we often sneeze when we inhale a lot of dusty air? Okay, that's the question. Reason of sneezing. See, we have already told many times, I have explained it very clearly. See, when we are inhaling air with foreign particles, that will get stuck into the thin hairs which are present in the nasal cavity, and these foreign particles or this dust particles will irritate the inner lining of the nasal cavity, and as a result that this foreign particles irritates the lining of nasal cavity, then as a reflex action, as a response to that irritation, as a reflex action, what is happening here? As a reflex action, this sneezing is happening, and during that sneezing, all this irritating or the foreign particles which are inhaled, that will come out, which will, the sneezing will, it's the moving out of foreign particles or the dust particles, okay, which are creating that irritation. That is the reason for sneezing. Then there is another question which is called like here, take 3 test tubes filled with 3/4 of each with water, label them A, B, C, keep a snail in the test tube in A, and in B you can keep a water plant, and C, keep both snail and plant. Which test tube would have highest concentration of carbon dioxide? See, 3 test tubes we need to take. In tube A, tube B, tube C. In tube 1, you're going to keep a snail. Okay, here in the tube B, you're keeping a plant. In tube C, a plant and a snail you're keeping. And you want to identify that which have the highest concentration of carbon dioxide. Okay, here test tube A, here you can say in the test tube A, that will be having the highest concentration of carbon dioxide because a snail which expels out the carbon dioxide into the tube. Okay, here expels carbon dioxide into the tube, right? And here in B, the plant is present, right? So plant is present in both test tube B and C, right? In here snail is also present, but the snail will expel the carbon dioxide into the tube. But here in tube B and C, plant is also there. So this plant will take in the carbon dioxide, right? That need carbon dioxide. When that need the carbon dioxide, and so this carbon dioxide level will be reduced, or the concentration of carbon dioxide will be reduced in this. So there will be less concentration of carbon dioxide in these tubes because plant will utilize this carbon dioxide, right? That need oxygen, and along with that, for photosynthetic process that need carbon dioxide also, right? So plant will utilize this carbon dioxide. Here the carbon dioxide level, only plant is there, the carbon dioxide level will be less. And in tube C, whatever this snail is expelling, that carbon dioxide also will be utilized by this plant. Okay, so the concentration of carbon dioxide will be more in the tube A because there a snail which is expelling the carbon dioxide. Only that snail is present and that will expel the carbon dioxide. So that whole concentration will be there, right? Next question. So this kind of questions, if you're getting, you should think why there is a plant and what is the relation between plant and carbon dioxide, how we can relate this. Okay, so such in a application level, you have to think and solve this question. Okay, in a cockroach, fifth question, in a cockroach, air enters into the body through which one? Through spiracles. Then next question, during heavy exercise, we get cramps in the legs due to the accumulation of lactic acid. Lactic acid accumulation, due to that muscle cramps. Okay. And next, normal range of breathing rate per minute. Normal range of breathing rate per minute, that is 15 to 18 times, and during heavy exercise it is maximum up to 25 breaths per minute. During exhalation, what is happening for ribs? Exhalation, breathing out, then ribs will move downward. Ribs won't come up, right? We are exhaling, the air is going, whatever air is filled with inhale, that is going out. So while inhaling, the ribs will come up to give more space, and exhaling, that ribs will go back, it will go down to the normal position. Okay, then some other questions are there, like yeast, that is connected with alcohol, right? During alcohol production, you're utilizing yeast, and where you can see diaphragm, that is in the chest cavity. Diaphragm is present in the chest cavity, and earthworm respiration is taking place through skin, through moist skin. Then in leaves, how air enters, that is through stomata. Fish is doing respiration through gills, which is the expansion of skin, right? And here, frog, the respiratory organ, when underwater, that will respire through skin, moist skin, and they have a pair of lungs. When they are on land, they will use this lungs for their respiration. Okay, so these are the main questions and answers in your NCERT textbook. And some more MCQs, like the air tubes of insects are called as trachea, and the skeletal structure which is surrounding the chest cavity, that is ribs. Okay, then muscular floor of the chest cavity is diaphragm, trachea, then ribs. What is ribs, that you need to learn. Then here on the surface of leaf you can see tiny pores which are called as stomata. So what is stomata, you can learn. Then the small openings on the sides of body which you can see in insects, that is pericles. Then human respiratory organ, that is lungs. uh, Openings through which we inhale, that is nostrils. Anaerobic organism, example you can give yeast. Okay, then our organism with a tracheal system, that you can say example ant. Okay, and cockroach, all these are the example for tracheal system, organism with tracheal system. Okay, so these are the main questions and these are the main MCQs which you need to learn. So we have completed this chapter. We have covered all the topics and we have answered all the questions from your NCERT book, and some extra questions also we have done. So go through all these portions, make separate note, and all these 1 mark questions, all the definitions you have to learn, make a complete note. If you're reading the note, you will feel like you have done the complete textbook, and each and every point is clear for you. And the diagrams, respiratory system of human being, then the balloon experiment, the model of respiratory system, human respiratory system, all those things with diagram you need to learn. Okay, so that's all about this chapter, respiration in organisms. In the next class, we'll start a new chapter. Thank you.